Hi Whovians, Harry here, and the Doctor has gone by many names in Doctor Who. He has been called the Imp of Pandorica, the Beast of Trenzalore, the Butcher of Skull Moon. He is basically the Doctor of War. However, one title that stayed with him from basically, 2005, the start of NuWho, and is still going today, is the last of the Time Lords. And this needs to stop. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get in to the video. So, what I am talking about is, back in 2005, when Doctor Who returned, Russell T Davies made the decision to make the Ninth Doctor a lot darker and angrier than we've seen him previously, than his other past 8 incarnations. And that was because Russell T Davies made the decision to make the Doctor the last survivor, the only survivor of his race, the last of the Time Lords, which was revealed in the episode, the second episode actually, into the revival era, The End of the World, that the Doctor was the last of his race, the last of the Time Lords. And it created a lot of new character to the Doctor. He was now a loner, he was dark, he was angry, he was basically updated for the modern age, and it created a lot of baggage for him, made him have room to grow, because he was now in a entirely new setting, being guilt from being the last of the Time Lords. It made a kind of new space for the Doctor to explore and grow. However, Russell T Davies didn't just make the Doctor the last of his species, he also made him the one that killed his species, because in the amazing episode Dalek, it is implied by the Doctor that he killed the Time Lords, basically with him being completely alone, and the Dalek actually draws parallels to him and the Doctor as well, saying that they are the same because they are both alone, the last survivors of their respective races. And of course, this drives the Doctor to almost commit full genocide against the Dalek race as well, so he would have wiped out not only his own race, but the Dalek race as well. However, with the Daleks returning through Series 1 and seeing no Time Lords, it is fully stated that he is the last of his species. And this only became more prevalent in the 10th Doctor's era. However, the 10th Doctor takes an entirely different viewpoint of the Time War and of Gallifrey than his predecessor, the 9th Doctor, because it is seen many times that 10 romanticises the feelings of Gallifrey, mostly seen in Gridlock, and the face of Bo in that episode even tells the Doctor, "You are not alone," referring to the Master. However, the 10th Doctor clings on to the fact that he is the last of the Time Lords, and again, this basically only becomes even more prevalent when the Master dies in the episode The Last of the Time Lords, with the 10th Doctor crying over the Master's body, stating the fact that they are the only 2 Time Lords left, so he can't be the only one. He really wants the Master to survive, because otherwise he would know that he is the last Time Lord. And this goes to the extreme of the 10th Doctor breaking down with the fact that he is the last of the Time Lords, as seen in the Waters of Mars, when he becomes the Time Lord Victorious. So, as the Time Lord Victorious, he kind of takes on all the roles of every Time Lord. He says that the Time Lords used to be in place, but now he is the only one left. The rules of time are his, and they will obey him. And because he believes that he is the last one, he is the only one left. And again, this kind of comes to a head in his regeneration story, because in The End of Time Part 2, the final battle is a kind of Time Lord war between the Doctor, the Master, and the Time Lords from the Time War, with eventually the Doctor winning out and the Time Lords and the Master getting sent back into the Time War, with the 10th Doctor being the only survivor, really making sure that he is the only survivor of any Time Lord war, because he has survived Time War when he was the War Doctor, and also this mini Time War with the Time Lords and the Master, making him, again, the last of the Time Lords. And even when Stephen Moffat soft rebooted Doctor Who, the last of the Time Lords still carries on into the 11th Doctor's era, with it being pointed out, like 2 episodes in, by new companion Amy Pond in the episode Beast Below, that the Doctor is the last of the Time Lords. So it is stated pretty early on that he is the last of the Time Lords, continuing this thread from the Russell T Davies era. And it continues on in through the 11th Doctor's era, because the Doctor literally states in the episode The Doctor's Wife that he killed all the Time Lords, again making him the last of the Time Lords. However, Stephen Moffat set to write this because in the episode The Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary, the War Doctor, the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor all teamed up to save Gallifrey. So instead of the War Doctor destroying Gallifrey, they will have actually saved it. So, that happened, which means the Doctor should not be the last of the Time Lords anymore. However, this is when the 12th Doctor's era comes in and says, no, he is still the last of the Time Lords. So, the 12th Doctor was arguably the darkest incarnation the Doctor has ever had, making him lonelier and darker than ever before. He even questions whether he is a good man and whether he deserves to be really the Doctor in the same way that he has been before. And this is to do with the baggage of Gallifrey, as when he is searching for it in Series 8 and Series 9, he really breaks down when it is revealed that Missy has been lying about where Gallifrey has been, making him feel like he is still all on his own. And even when he arrives on Gallifrey, after searching for it for 2 series, he decides he doesn't want to even be there and leaves, meaning that he wants to be a loner. He doesn't want to be with his species, with the other Time Lords. He thought that would fill the hole in his heart, but he still feels like he is the last of the Time Lords. But that doesn't make sense because Gallifrey is still out there. I mean, the 12th Doctor even calls Missy the other last of the Time Lords in the episode Lie of the Land, and that doesn't make sense. Last of the Time Lords means that you are the last, the only Time Lord. The Doctor literally says in other episodes, don't say that you are the last of your species because I know how that feels. Yet he is literally saying that he is the last of the Time Lords and there is another last of the Time Lords. But that doesn't make any sense because you are not the last, because there are other Time Lords out there, with Missy literally being right in front of him when he says that. It just doesn't make sense. And this even continues into the 3rd or 4th soft reboot of Doctor Who, whichever reboot the 13th Doctor's era is, because the Doctor continues being the last of the Time Lords, with the Doctor not wanting to talk about Gallifrey at all with her fam. And this only gets worse when the Master destroys Gallifrey and converts all the Time Lords into Cyber Masters at some point between Series 11 and Series 12. So, again, the Doctor kind of does become the last of the Time Lords, but also not, because the Master is still there. However, if the 12th Doctor considered himself the last of the Time Lords with Missy around, then 13 must do the same with the Master around. And it only gets worse when at the end of Series 12, in the episode The Timeless Child, it is revealed that the Doctor isn't the last of the Time Lords, but is actually the last of whatever species she actually is. She is the only species in that universe. In the Doctor Who universe now, she is the only one of whatever species he is. Which makes it way harder to wrap your head around for things that we will come to basically right now. Because the 13th Doctor eventually does accept that she had a past life, when it is shown to her through the series Flux that basically it is impossible to overlook that she had a past life before the first Doctor. And this continues into the Disney Who era, with Russell T Davies picking up right where Chris Chibnall left off. And really it is seen throughout the 60th anniversary that the Doctor is the last of whatever species they are, because the Meep states in the Starbeast that a two-hearted creature is such a rare thing, and of course Time Lords have two hearts, which means there must not be many two-hearted races or two-hearted aliens out there, meaning that there must not be many Time Lords around. And even when the Doctor sheds the baggage of his past life by generating, as shown in The Giggle, the 15th Doctor still calls himself the last of the Time Lords, as seen in the episodes Space Babies and Empire of Death. So the 15th Doctor still calls himself the last of the Time Lords, even though it is seen time and time again that 1, he is not the last of the Time Lords, they keep coming up, and 2, he is not even a Time Lord. He is not even a Time Lord as shown in, well, The Timeless Child and also all of Flux. And also, there are loads of Time Lords still around there, like the Meta Crisis Doctor, Jenny, River Song, Susan Foreman, the Master, the Rani, the 14th Doctor. They keep coming back time and time again. The Master is set to come back at least at some point in this. Well, if he doesn't, he's probably not coming back in season 2, but he is surely coming back in season 3 or season 4, because the gold tooth of the Master was picked up. He is still, in some way, shape or form, in the universe, making the Doctor not the last of the Time Lords. And to be honest, I think the Doctor Who team has forgotten why they made the Doctor the last of the Time Lords in the first place. It was a way to put him into a new, different setting, making it like he is not infallible like he was in the classic era. He makes mistakes, and he has arguably made one of the worst mistakes he ever did, wiping out his species. However, through different retcons, it has been seen that he is not the last of the Time Lords. However, they are trying to overplay this again and again and again. At least the Doctor, at least every modern incarnation of the Doctor has said that they are the last of the Time Lords at least once in some way, shape or form. With the current Doctor, the 15th Doctor, stating basically in the last episode we had him in, that he was the last of the Time Lords. And really, it is getting overplayed. And with every reveal that a new Time Lord, or sort of Time Lord, has returned, it just gets more and more laughable. But really, with all these reveals, the Doctor should still not be called the last of the Time Lords, with the fact that, 1, he is not a Time Lord, and 2, there are so many Time Lords that keep returning. He is definitely not the last of the Time Lords. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think the Doctor is the last of the Time Lords, or do you think Doctor Who should stop calling the Doctor the last of the Time Lords? As I said, let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.